Hello there. My name is Greg Dixon, and I'm here with Roy Dickin. And together we call ourselves Total Traffic and Conversion. And we've been doing a workshop here about various ways in order to increase your traffic, especially with using Google Business Profile and some of the new tools. And today we're going to talk a bit about a special offer that we're doing. Um, so, Roy, maybe you want to talk about where people miss opportunities by not paying attention to certain things.
Well, especially right now, Google is making constant changes to all their. Well, I don't like to say the word algorithms, but that's actually what it is. So, right off the bat, I'm saying a word I shouldn't be saying. But at any rate, it's their applications, and they've changed how they rank people on Google as far as your website is concerned. That's been a couple of years now, but they keep making additional changes to that. They change, well, if you've got a Google My Business listing, and everybody that wants to sell something locally should have, it's not a Google My Business listing anymore. They've changed that. It's now a Google Business Profile, and a lot of the things are the same, but some are different. If you keep track of where your traffic goes on your website, that's changed. Who shows up on what page and where they came from and all that kind of thing. But actually, all this stuff has gotten better when you know how to use it. And that's where Greg and I can come in. We can make these changes easy for you. We're the ones that we study what's going on. We figure it out. We try to put it into words you can understand. But basically, we're gonna tell you why they've made these changes and how you can benefit from them. The big thing right now is Google has an intent for all these changes. And the last three that I mentioned are really the same intent is behind all three of them. So those are kind of things that we're going to want to go through. We've got a tip for you later, and that's how you can use a little thing we're going to talk about tonight to take advantage of some of these changes and possibly all these changes. And so anyway, we're gonna get into that. But Greg and I are your go-to people for this kind of thing, because I really don't know anybody else that's following up on this stuff and then turning it into something that you can use to actually bring in more business.
Yeah, and one of the things we're talking about today is we have a special offer for review and recommendation report. It's because all of us we don't know what we don't know. So like we think everything's functioning properly, with our websites, and maybe if you have a Google Business Profile or your offer and your sales functions, but almost everything has room for improvement. Like you at some point you lose people, right? You may get them, like from Roy's point of view with what Roy's doing. He's trying to get people listed well in Google, and so you get people onto a website. And then so where I come in is what is the customer experience when they arrive on that website? Is it clear that they're in the right place? Is this where they want to be? Is there a clear offer? And then if there's an offer, if somebody signs up for a mailing list or they order something, what's the experience with that? So we try to make it so that it's smooth. We want the process to be smooth, and we don't want to lose things in the way. And sometimes and even the biggest companies have holes in their gaps, right? They might spend millions of dollars on an advertising campaign to send people to some kind of inboarding session where maybe there's a team to talk to them or whatever. And anyway, they haven't really handled the other end properly. So I should have muted my phone.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, we all make that mistake.
Yeah.
But yes, so to carry on with what Greg's talking about now, my side of things is attracting those ideal prospects. And the thing that you need to know, the thing that probably it would be ideal to know is how you compare with respect to Google's intent. What are they looking for? And then the people that actually are doing that search, what are they looking for? Because we might think we have a really great product or we got a really great service, but nobody really cares. What they want is what's important to them. And if our product or service is important to them, then they're really happy. Now, Google has a little bit different intent, and theirs is they want to keep their searchers on their search engine. They've got 95% of all the searches now, and they want to keep it that way. Well, they wouldn't mind increasing it, but they certainly don't want to let it go down. So the thing that they are interested in is making sure that when they recommend you by putting you on page one or putting you in a Google map, and therefore you're getting a good percentage of the leads that they're making available, the free stuff, they want to make sure that you provide a good user experience. Now, Greg's going to take it all the way through to once you're there, what your intent is. Let's make sure that they get served exactly what they came there for. Now, that's really important to Google because they want to make sure that every time someone puts in a search term, when they go to the sites that Google recommends, they're actually able to get what they were intending with that search term. So it's all about intent, the intention of the person who is searching and the intent of Google. We want to satisfy both of those. And that's what Greg and I understand and we want to share with you. You want to talk about that a little bit, Greg?
Sure. Yeah, you want to have a consistent experience so that when they find something online, either through Google or search, and then they end up into a website or a landing page or an appointment, that everything is consistent with what they're expecting and what they're looking for. So that's what one of the things with our report that we're offering here is we basically track through. Roy will go through and he has some tools that he uses to analyze how your business looks like to Google, like whether, because there's some tools that will analyze your loading speed for your website. Is it fast enough? Is it responsive? Is it mobile friendly? Also, is it do the keywords that are used and the phrases, things, do they match with what the user experiences when they get on the page? And then I help implement the offers. So let's say many of my clients offer either membership programs or online courses. And so, I look at, is it easy enough to find what you want to purchase and purchase it? So with the shopping system and how that's handled, do they receive the proper information about their purchase? Do they get access links? All those kinds of things. Is it easy enough to get a hold of somebody in the company for customer support, or if they have a question about whatever it is they've offered? So we've come up with a pretty exhaustive, pretty comprehensive set of things that we look at. And the end result is we'll give you a written report listing the areas where you can improve things just to reduce the losses of sales and revenues by having holes in your system. And we'll provide enough information that you can go do it yourself. We'll point you in the right direction. For example, maybe your landing page needs to be more mobile friendly. So how do you go about doing that? And we can make some suggestions so that you could actually go do it yourself. But we're also available to help you with that too. We can help you once the first step is to identify all of the things, and you can't do it all at once. So it's a matter of coming up with a priority. What would have the best return on your investment now? Is it, and it's almost always being found, because if nobody finds you, then the rest doesn't really matter. And then after that is what is the customer experience after they're found and to go through. And we just have I'll just put it on the screen here. It's not really easy to read, but this is the kind of thing, the Total Traffic Conversion Review and Recommendations Report. And we have a list in red there. You can go see this at totaltrafficandconversion.com. And that's a list of the things that we're going to look at and review. And many of those things can really pay dividends. So if you're, we don't want you to be leaving money on the table, having it just sort of fall out of the system. So we want to optimize your whole business really from beginning to end, and so that you're getting to the people who need your service. They find you, and then their experience when they receive the service is top notch. So you can go visit that website, totaltrafficandconversion.com, and look at the package. You can sign up today. And if you have any questions, both Roy and I have booking calendars available on the page, and you can contact us and ask any questions. And if you have any questions right now, put them in the chat, and we can try to address your concerns. So do we have any questions at the moment from our visitors?
Okay, while we're waiting for that, and Greg, you can keep your eye on that, and when it comes in, we'll talk about it. The flow of ideal prospects that Greg mentioned is one of the things that starts this whole process off. You've got to have that, because if you don't have anybody finding you, then it's really not going to work out all that well as far as increasing your business. They've got to find you first. Now, the tip that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to begin talking about it now, is that one of the best ways to go about having people find you that you don't know and they don't know you, and this begins the introduction, and this begins the relationship, and we'll explain where that all can go, can begin with the content that you have both on your website and your Google Business Profile. Because you may or may not know this, but the majority of the people, it's actually 75% of the people that do a search, are not ready to buy something right this minute. They're actually looking for information. Now, information may be all they're looking for, but on the other hand, they may be looking for information that's going to lead to them choosing who to buy from. So this is your opportunity to begin the relationship. So content is probably one of the most important things that you want to have both on your website and your Google My Business listing, which is now your Google Business Profile. The object here, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, is that once you begin this relationship, eventually you want this to turn into a sale. It may not be a large sale the first time, but this changes everything. You now have a different relationship. You actually have a customer or a client. And what turns out to be the maximum amount of money you actually generate from that client or customer is keeping them for a long period of time. So you want to convert them to a long-term customer or client. And the term that's used for the amount of money made over the lifetime is the lifetime value of that particular prospect, because they've got a lifetime value if they decide to buy from you once, and then you're able to keep them. And we can help you do all that. So all you have to do is attract a client, and we'll explain how to do that, and then get them to buy one time, get them to buy another time, and then get them to buy over the years. So you have a lifetime value for that client. And it's just a maximum amount of money you can earn from each particular prospect that comes to your website or Google Business Profile for the first time.
Yeah.
Greg, you want to take it? Go ahead.
I just want to reiterate a few things. It's way easier to keep a current customer happy and keep ongoing business than it is to attract a new person. So that's part of the thing is, we get them in and then we keep them happy so that they stay. There's sort of, and the other thing that you mentioned, Roy, is that it's not, and it's seldom instant, right? So the people may take a long time to make a decision. Sometimes from the time they first contact you and join your mailing list, it may be months, sometimes even years before they engage. But if you keep them engaged with enough interesting content, enough offers to keep them interested, at some point it'll become the right time for them to get involved.
That's a very good point. And that's another reason why you not only want to have good content on your website or Google Business Profile, but you want to continue to add more content, because once they've come there to get what it is they've gotten, they may come back for more. And therefore, you want to have something that's different, something that's new. If you keep adding it consistently, this is where Google jumps up and down. And this is where you'll get not only more clients, but you'll get the same people coming back again and reestablishing that relationship and actually helping it to grow. So that is a very powerful concept that you've just brought up. Yeah.
Yes, and I also will mention that we look at not just the website and not just the Google Business Profile, but also the whole online footprint. Like, what do you look like in LinkedIn? What do you look like in social media? Sometimes when the first thing I do if I meet somebody in a networking group is I go take a look at their LinkedIn profile. And then, maybe if they've got a Facebook page or something like that. And if what they have on their Facebook or LinkedIn profile represents nothing about what they're saying in the networking groups, then it's a flag, right? So we want the messaging to be consistent, and you don't have to just be monotone about it, but at least if for us, like Roy is with niche domination, if you go to his LinkedIn channel, you find out that that's what he does, and there are various posts and profiles to provide information, and so it's obvious that's what he's doing. And I'm a little bit more multi-passionate, so there's a variety of things you might find on my LinkedIn channel, but still there's some pretty clear links and invitations to the website and offers and information so that people can get a pretty good idea about what we do. And again, there's always some room for incremental improvement in the process. So the first thing we're going to look for are the real obvious potholes or breaks in the thing that are really interfering with people engaging with you. And then as we get the major problems sorted out, then you can do some refinements and eventually get a well-tuned engine running.
Yeah, I'm kind of one-dimensional, but I think for most people that works very well, because my LinkedIn page I have a business page there too. It basically says the same thing that I say on my website,
Yeah.
and what I say on my Google business profile. And also, I've started a YouTube channel. You may find this to be of value as well. And I say the same things there. So I'm saying the same thing basically everywhere. And if I do go to a networking group, or I speak in person, which I do quite often, and I speak internationally as well, my message is fairly consistent. Greg can take it where you need to take it to make this whole thing come together. But I think if you don't get the prospects in the first place, you're never really able to turn them into a client or customer with long-term value. So I'm going to stay on that one-dimensional front. I recommend for a lot of businesses that there is one person that really does stay on that front. Now that you can take that so far as to actually narrow your niche down. Mine is basically client attraction. It can be on multiple different platforms, multiple different social media sites and that kind of thing. But I think it's real good to have a narrow niche. The other stuff is going to come to you anyway. But if you specialize in something, in my opinion, that's a really good way to really make traction quickly. And if you're just starting out, that's certainly the way you want to go. But even over time, at least emphasize a particular narrower spectrum of your niche. I think I have noticed over the years, it's over 13 years now I've been doing this, that really helps. I find that specialists do better faster than generalists.
Yeah. I've found that too. Like, for example, in the networking groups, you often will have people who create websites, which is like, half of the population of the world, this sort of things. But one person basically said they create websites optimized for construction companies. So their niche was the construction company. And then and your thing is your local niche domination is you want to have the best profile you can for your plumbing company in some town in Montana or something, right? You track
Exactly.
Very, very local kinds of things. So that's where the location and the niche is very important with many of the things that you do.
And I'll say that I narrowed pretty much everything because I do build websites, but I don't just build websites for everybody. The websites that I build are for people that are in high competition niches.
Yeah.
Because that's where I can really make a difference for them. If they've got to beat out a lot of people in order to get into the Google 3-pack, or they need to get on page one, like a dentist, for example, if they don't control their local area, they're really not going to do well at all. In fact, it's hard to believe, but some dentists can actually go out of business in certain towns, and they actually have to go to a different town in order to do well. They have to do well. They have to have a Google business profile. They have to have a website that actually attracts clients. And Greg mentioned this before, but I think it's important to bring it up. One of the things that Google really wants nowadays is for your website to come up quickly on a digital device. Usually, most often, just the typical cell phone. And if it doesn't come up quickly, I mean, that's where it has to come up. More people search with those than with desktop devices anymore. So this is the only thing at this point in time that Google really cares about. Now, they'll get around to other things later. But at this point in time, when they go to rank you, it is ranking you because of the user experience that someone gets with their cell phone, their typical cell phone. And one of the things that's so important is how fast you come up on that page. So whatever keyword initiates that page needs to come up quickly, because what happens is And I've done the same thing. So I know that I understand how this works. If it takes too long to come up, I just go to somebody else, because I'm not going to wait around. If it takes more than a couple seconds to come up, I'm on to somebody else. I don't think that they're really in this to win it. They have not really optimized their website, and I'm not going to hang around to wait for them to get it together. So I think other people probably feel like I do. I would expect that you should consider that some other people may feel that way too. So coming up quickly, even if it's for a local area where you only care about customers within, say, 30-mile radius, it still should come up quickly.
Yeah. And that's part of the review and recommendation offer that we're making here is that Roy will run by, take a look at what it looks like from a local niche point of view, and also how responsive and how fast the pages load, so that Google is happy. And Google's almost everything these days. So and Google breaks everything down into mathematics, which I happen to major in college, and I love it. And so I'm really happy that they care about that, because it's easy for me to be able to analyze everything with respect to mathematics. So you don't have to worry about that. You've got us. So we can break this down into layman's terms so that you can maximize the value that you're bringing to those customers on the web that are looking for you, because there are people out there that want to find you right now. And Greg and I want to make sure that they do find you, and they're happy when they do, and they turn into customers and clients quickly. Yeah. So that rating that says 62.55, we'll just sort of say could be faster.
Yeah.
We'll read between, we'll do the interpretation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you wouldn't even want to go through what we have to go through. But Google breaks it down. Basically, they're 100-point evaluations in several different areas, actually more than several, but several that really count. And you need to come up with certain scores in order for them to feel that you would be providing a good user experience. So in order for them to even show you, believe it or not, you got to have the right scores now. And once you get there, Greg knows how to make it easy for them to either get the information that they want, or to make it easy for them to find how to buy what they want, and then make it easy for them to actually go follow through and charge their credit card, and they're happy, you're happy. That's where it all should go.
Okay, that's great. So it doesn't look like we have any questions at the moment. So the invitation is to go to find out more information at totaltrafficandconversion.com. You can book an appointment with us, with Roy, or with me to discuss. We can discuss together. And of course, a special offer is there on the page, and we'd love for you to take us up on it. And I guess any last words, Roy?
I just want to say, I mean, you're here. We're live. Ask the questions. Don't just sit there and, we're telling you some things that are valuable, but you've got to have some questions. I would put them in the chat and make sure that we get them answered, because this can really be helpful for you directly, things that really matter to you. So take advantage of being able to ask the questions and get them answered immediately.
And continue to ask the questions even after we've ended the broadcast, because we'll go back to the comments and we'll respond to them.
Good point. All right.
Anyway, have a great Friday, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Hope to see you next week, and tell others about this opportunity, please.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Have them join us on Fridays at 4 on Eastern Standard Time, or Daylight Time, or anyway, 4 o'clock Eastern Time, period.
4:30 Newfoundland, 1 p.m. Pacific. Anyway. All right. Have a good day.
Thanks again.